got this Bluetooth headband that reads your mind. Not metaphorically, literally. Microvolt level signals coming off your brain, sends them via Bluetooth to your phone, graphs it, and it tells you how you slept at night. I got this from my dad, who wanted to learn more about his sleep habits. What he learned is that when he's asleep, he is in the habit of grabbing headbands off of his head and chucking them at the wall with great force, right about at 3 in the morning. He could determine the time very precisely from the measurements provided by the headband. He asked if I wanted to try it, and I decided to give it a go because I wasn't sleeping very well. What happened was amazing. What I found was I'd always thought that I was a bad sleeper. I always thought it took me an hour to fall asleep, and I woke up and stayed awake for long periods of time in the middle of the night. This wasn't so. It turned out it only took me 15 minutes to fall asleep. I only woke up once or twice, and usually only for a couple of minutes. And when I knew this, my sleep improved. I stopped stressing about it, and I started just going to sleep like a normal person. It was amazing, and I thought, this is so cool. I told my doctor about it, and he said, you know what? You should get a sleep study. More data sounds good, so I went into the hospital and strapped in for the night. It was amazing, 20 electrodes on my skull, measuring all sorts of crazy things, and it turns out I have sleep apnea, or in layman's terms, I don't breathe at night sometimes, which is not good. So I got this sweet jet fighter mask that I wear in bed now, which is probably gonna add, no joke, 10 years to my life, and makes me sleep much better. I was talking to my friend Matt about this, and Matt said, you know what, you should really spit in a cup, because if you like data about yourself, my sponsor, Matt dances for a living, and his sponsor up in the corner is a company, 23andMe, that will actually tell you all sorts of crazy stuff about yourself, actually read your genome from this vial of spit. So I did, and it was awesome, because there's nothing more interesting than to read about yourself. And I learned all sorts of crazy things. I learned that I'm predisposed to be addicted to heroin. I learned that I'm a descendant of the Cohen tribe of Israel. I learned, quite worryingly, that I have a dramatically elevated risk of dandruff. But the best part that I learned is that I am a fast caffeine metabolizer. I had not known this recently, but I started reading up. It turns out that coffee is this like wonder drug with all these wonderful effects and things that it prevents, except for one small side effect, heart attacks. So you get all this, I mean, Alzheimer's, cavities, makes all these things better, but some heart attacks. Except for fast caffeine metabolizers. We don't have elevated risk of heart attacks. So I started drinking coffee on a regular basis, 2 cups a day. Hadn't done that before. Round about this time, my workplace offered this free health assessment. I figured it was gonna be, you know, yellow and red because I don't eat very well and I don't like to exercise. But I went in and spent 20 minutes in a conference room and got this workup, and it was actually pretty much a clean bill of health, except for weight. Now, I wouldn't have known what to do about blood glucose or triglycerides, but like weight, mass, I was like, you know, maybe I should try measuring this too. So I got a scale. Bluetooth sends it to my phone, draws pretty graphs. It turns out caffeine's an appetite suppressant, so I get this thing and my weight starts dropping, which is kind of neat. And I start thinking, I wonder what other changes I could make in my life that would change the data. So I try some experiments. I try starting with fruits and vegetables like mom and dad always said. And the weight comes off. And I say, what if beef is a sometimes food and the weight comes off? And I say, what if I stop snacking in the evening? That didn't work. No, I couldn't do that. But what if I snack on fruits and vegetables in the evening and more weight came off? And this was amazing. I'm actually not doing anything particularly hard, and I'm getting the results I want by doing these iterative experiments over and over again. So the last 8 months or so have been kind of cool. I've been learning all sorts of things about myself. I've been setting these goals, and they've just sort of magically trickled along and happening. And this is what I'm here to recommend to you today. I can't actually tell you that you're going to experience similar results to what I have from what you eat, from what you drink, or the stuck slides that we appear to have. There we go. Oh yes, and the Fitbit, which was this great little pedometer that you clip on your belt, and it shows you the number of steps that you take, which had absolutely no effect at all. However, when I gave 4 of them to my friends, and they started nagging me to go for walks with them, that's what actually worked. So this is the results. I get an hour more of sleep a night. I breathe when I'm sleeping, which, you know, is a big benefit. I'm drinking coffee, which is actually better for me and to extend my lifespan. More exercise, and I'm actually down about 30 pounds now from where I started. And it all came from this notion of the geek diet. And I'm sorry if there's a little misleading advertising here. I didn't actually mean diet in the sense of calorie restriction. I mean diet in the classic sense of the set of habits that makes up your life. And this is what the geek diet is about. If there's something you want to change, you measure it, you try something, and you see what happens. And I cannot recommend this to you highly enough. Because whatever it is about yourself that you'd like to change, take the scientific method approach to it. I found it works wonders, and I think that you will find it can have a significant and positive impact on your life as well. I'm Dan Shapiro on Twitter. I'll tweet out some of the links to the toys and gadgets and gizmos that I've been playing with if you'd like to try yourself. Thanks very much.